Hello everybody, welcome to the Let's Play Daily number 2 for WikiGameGuides. Right now I'm checking out the new Nightfall strike, the one restricted to the DLC, which is actually going to be today's topic of discussion. I'm trying a little bit new format. I think, so right now I'm doing, first off, I recorded this last night. I found these two dudes randomly through DestinyLFG.com. If you haven't used it, it's a great resource to find people, because there's no matchmaking in this game. It's a great way to find people that are also looking to do a strike or a raid or whatever you need help with in the game. And this was my first time through the Nightfall strike, and it's actually insanely hard. It's got arc burn on. There's a ton of arc enemies, those dudes with the forearms and the four swords. They'll one-shot you easily. I've even heard that they can one-shot 2 people at a time if you're standing too close to each other. I'm using the new, what the hell is the name of this new gun? I made a video for it yesterday. It's one of the ones you get after completing the 3 main story missions. Murmur. I'm using Murmur with the arc modification on it, and at least one of the other guys on the team is using it too, and it made short work of a lot of enemies. And having a good arc weapon is pretty essential for this Nightfall raid. Anyway, so give this video a like. It helps me out a lot. The likes and the comments, basically, it's hard to describe how insanely important they are to the success of a video, because like if the first 1,000 people watch a video and only 10 people hit that like button, then there's 200,000 something subscribers on this channel. If the percentage of people that watch it the percentage of people that hit the like button or comment or interact with the video is very high, then it's going to get pushed out to more new people. If it's very low, then it's just going to die on the vine. It's just how YouTube works. Anyway, so the reason I'm doing a post commentary is I realized that I think I can make better gameplay videos, what you're actually watching, and do better commentary if I do them independently of each other. Like when I'm talking and playing at the same time, it's really hard to maintain a train of thought. And I asked for feedback yesterday, and one of the shitty comments that I got was from a dude that actually had a little avatar that was a penis, and he called me a dickhead for not being able to carry on a sentence for longer than 20 seconds without changing a topic. And I think he actually had a good point. He just didn't do a good job of stating his case. There's a lot to be said for how you present an argument, which is why I wanted one of the reasons I wanted today's topic to be about the Nightfall strike and Destiny and Bungie limiting the Nightfall strike for the week to only people that own DLC. And I think there's 2 sides to this argument. So if you didn't know, if you do not own the DLC, you can I just killed myself there with that rocket that detonates on proximity to enemies. That's the only thing I don't like about that rocket launcher. See, even when I'm doing the commentary afterwards, I still get distracted quite easily. So there's this Nightfall strike. And this video is just going to show the first half of the Nightfall strike. Tomorrow is going to be the second half, because it's a pretty long strike and actually pretty tough. You can only play the Nightfall strike if you bought the DLC. And there's a lot of people saying that's complete bullshit. I don't want to spend $20 on this DLC just so I can get that extra Nightfall modifier. And there's a good reason for that. For the DLC, the new $20 DLC to be required to do the Nightfall strike. So I think on the side of it's not such a bad thing that Bungie is requiring the DLC to play the Nightfall strike, is that's just how every game works. Every game is expected to have new expansions, every game is expected to have new content, and Bungie locking out some features to people who want to pay that extra $20, or I think it's $15 if you buy the season pass. That includes the first and the second expansion. But if you just buy it individually, which I did, because honestly I was on the fence about buying this one in the first place, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to go ahead and spend $30 versus 2 individual 20s. $20 is a lot of money, and Bungie wants every single person that's currently playing the game to buy the Nightfall Strike. And I wasn't in the boat where I was continuing to play the game every day and was on the fence about buying the new DLC. I was in the boat where, like I just said, like I got kind of burned out on Destiny, and having some new content like this made me interested in getting back into it. So I'm not really in this edge case where you might be continuing to play it every day and still enjoying what you have, and now you find out that your game that you've been playing every day, you're basically forced to pay $20, even if you weren't interested in paying the $20, or even if you felt that maybe you hadn't even got your full value out of the base game yet, which is, I think, is a case that there is an interesting thread on Reddit that just had, well, interesting might be overstating it. It's just a bunch of people arguing back and forth about the merits of forcing people to pay $20 for this DLC. And I'll link it in the comments, or in the description. Actually, you know what? I'll link it in the comments for this video if you want to read the thread that kind of inspired today's discussion. But there's also, or you know what? I'll read the title comment, or the original post. So it was titled, "It would have been absolute garbage for everyone who bought the DLC if the Nightfall and Weekly were limited to vanilla strikes, and you all know it." So his reasoning, depressed development, is that if you paid for this DLC and the Nightfall Strikes didn't include this new DLC, the people who paid for it will feel like, would have felt that their $20 wasn't being put to full use, as if your $20 puts you in some unique exclusive club, some prestigious club separate from all the normies who didn't buy the DLC. He goes on to write, "Bungie didn't betray you. Choke your temper tantrums. I would have considered my money wasted if DLC strikes didn't appear in the weekly Nightfall rotation. They made the right choice." Bungie made the right choice. "If you're going to choose not to buy expansions, you have to accept that there are parts of the game you won't be able to play going forward. That's how it has been in every game since the dawn of time." Now, I take issue with this argument. Now, I think one situation that a lot of people that are arguing in this are not considering is that there are people who might be getting Destiny on Christmas, who might be getting Destiny on Black Friday, who haven't played Destiny yet, and as soon as they're going into Destiny, and Destiny is still a full price game, it hasn't had a price drop yet. It's still $60 if you buy it digitally. I think Amazon had it listed as $50, but that's cutting into their own pocket. It's not. It hasn't had a universal price drop. If you just pick up Destiny right now, if you just started playing Destiny today, because I don't know, let's say you were busy in September, like many people can be when they're going back to school, and now your finals are over, and you actually have a little bit of time to get into Destiny, and you see that there's this DLC. But it's actually limiting you, but like you haven't even put in, to hit level 20, like to do a Nightfall Strike or to do a weekly heroic strike. I think the weekly heroics are only level 26, and the difference in like the amount of time it takes to get from level 26 to level 30 to be able to do this Nightfall Strike, or I guess Nightfalls are only 28, maybe the heroics are 24. I could be wrong on that. Anyway. But, more importantly than the Nightfall Strike is the heroic in this situation, I think, because and they're the same every week. Because those people that are just picking up Destiny right now, they're going to say, what the fuck? I paid $60 and I'm not getting the full game. I think that's a bigger problem. Maybe something that they're overlooking. And this isn't, in saying that. And you also don't have to say that the Nightfall Strikes has to be part of the DLC. They could have easily came up with some other name for a new series of strikes that includes the new DLC strike. They could have easily had a new buff. Let's say. So when you complete the weekly Nightfall Strike, you get that 25% experience boost. They could have had another buff for a new playlist that is included in the DLC. They could have called it the Dark Below weekly Nightfall Strike, and it's this same one every week, or maybe it's this one combined with all the others, but they have some interesting modifiers on it that, I don't know, adds more hive enemies to the strike, or some sort of modifier that makes it unique to the Dark Below, and say, this is a new playlist unique to people that own the Dark Below. You get this extra buff that's maybe another 25% weapon boost, or maybe 5% bonus weapon damage, or extra health, or I don't know, like extra glimmer earned, or extra weapon experience earned, or it's just some other buff. They didn't have to have the Nightfall Strike be modified by the DLC. They could have easily said, no, you get this whole other cool thing that makes you level up even faster. And similar in the way that the way I'm kind of thinking about it is with World of Warcraft or any other RPG where they continually up the level cap, just like this game did. This game only went from 30 to 32, but like World of Warcraft, I don't know a lot about World of Warcraft, but I think it started at max level 60, and now it's at max level 90 or something like that. And every new expansion pack upped the max level 10. But every time they also made it a little bit easier to level up. Those base levels 1 through 60 became pretty trivial over time, and I think even with the most recent World of Warcraft expansion, you can just go from level 1 to max level instantly with one character, I think is what I read. So they obviously, like, over time, as these new expansions come out and as they add new levels and as they add new content, they modify how the leveling systems work dramatically. And I don't think that maybe this is a small expansion in terms of how most of those World of Warcraft expansions work, like relative in size, but in cost, I think the World of Warcraft expansions are $40, and this is half of that. So it's not too insane of a comparison to make. I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, or how maybe they should have better handled excluding people from the Nightfall Strike that don't have the DLC. Anyway, let's see. Oh, I guess I'm not gonna. Yeah, I've talked quite a bit. This is almost the end of the video. Stuck on these loading screens. These loading screens are freaking weird. Update on the Tinder thing from yesterday. There's some actually really good responses, which I'll get into in tomorrow's video. Never heard back from her. So basically I figure, I'm not going to fucking nag her to see what the hell she's up to. But basically I figure it's just kind of dead in the water. If she wants to write me back at some later date, fine, whatever. But I'm not going to fucking pester her to say, oh, what the fuck's going on? But basically, I got that text at 2:30 in the morning saying I nearly got a DUI, and then that's basically the last thing I heard. So, whatever, move on. Yeah, I hope this new format is better. I actually, it takes quite a bit more time to record these voiceovers separately, but I think the topic of conversation is much more coherent throughout the video, and hopefully that means better content, and more interesting content, and better stuff for you guys to come back every day for. So tomorrow I will get back to some of the comments from the first video, especially the return of the whole series, and yeah, thanks for watching, and game on.